I have two very important questions to start with. The first one being, if you could be a contestant on a game show, which one would you want to be a contestant on?
Uh, that's a fun one. I think it would be one of the Survivor ones.
Yeah.
I think I am pretty self-reliant, so I think I could survive in an island. Um, yeah, yeah, I would go with that.
Great answer. The second question, a little more hard-hitting, and this has to play into the film that we are going to talk about. Is memorizing a game show cheating?
Not at all. I believe that if somebody was, yeah, what should we say? Maybe not fool, but yeah, if somebody created a game board that is that you can memorize, then they clearly didn't execute the board properly. So I do believe that Michael Larson is not a cheater, and that what he did was just simply brilliant. And he just exploited a loophole that required a lot of time and a lot of attention from his part. I don't know if you know about this, but he stacked 12 televisions and watched them going on at the same time with pressure luck for 6 months to see
Wow.
if they were repeating patterns. And that's how he found the patterns. So I think he was just a brilliant mind that needed to get yeah, some validation as a very, very smart person. And that's why he did it.
I totally respect that answer. It's a really great segue into the movie we're talking about. Let's get a quick synopsis. What is the Luckiest Man in America about?
It is about Michael Larson's pressure luck scandal, about a man who went into a game show and won a lot of money because he memorized the game board patterns. But as the movie progresses, we start to realize what he's doing, how he's doing it, who really is the guy, and then we find out why he's doing it. So that is, yeah, why what the movie is really about.
A very compelling story and really a great one to capture on film. Um, we'll talk more about the main subject here, but really I want to start with the cast because this movie has quite the ensemble. And as I'm watching these people who I'm recognizing from so many other projects and films and TV shows that I'm familiar with, it just kind of like really fell upon me like how great this cast is. Talk to me about working with this cast and how it was assembled and filming with them.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really felt that I was really, really lucky to get these people on board. But the reality is that we shot in the middle of the strike, of the two strikes that
Oh.
were happening last year, and that allowed us to find, yeah, really, 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 really good actors at the top of their game that were out of jobs, and because we were an independent production that had a SAG waiver, we were allowed to shoot in the middle of the strike, and we had some fans in the agencies. Some of the agents really liked our script, so when the strike hit, they started offering us all of these people that I could only dream of in another in another lifetime, and then they were like, "Yep, they're ready to go. So just pick who do you want to work with," and it was really just a perfect storm.
Samir, wouldn't that kind of make you one of the luckiest men in America?
Yeah, exactly. So I usually say that as the movie started progressing, and we, after writing it and pre-production and production, I started to realize the parallels between what Michael was going through and what I was going through. And it starts really just from the very beginning of the movie, going into an audition and pitching yourself to two executives is exactly how this journey began. I had to sit down in front of financiers and producers and say like, "Oh yeah, I'm the perfect director to spend your money, so give it to me." And then once you're allowed into this place, you, under a lot of lights and cameras and a lot of people surrounding you, you really need to execute something that you have been planning for months. And that's why, yeah, I realized, okay, yeah, this is I was the right person to tell this story. I guess I am the luckiest man in America.
That's exceptional. Let's talk about the title. If I'm not mistaken, in my research for this, it seems like the film was originally called Press Your Luck, of course, referencing the game that is the main part of this film, and it was changed and is now being released under the title The Luckiest Man in America. Talk to me about the thought process on that change because it's a very clear and intentional shift from the game being the main subject to the character being the main subject. What went into that decision?
Exactly, yeah. So Pressure Luck was always the working title. We knew that we were gonna have another one by the time the film was done. But you actually hit it right on the head. Like that's exactly the reason why, because we really wanted to make the movie about the luckiest man in America and the irony of the fact that it was not luck and that this man sacrificed so much on the way to become the luckiest man in America. So that's why we went with it. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the movie.
I did. Yes, I've
Um,
seen the film.
Good.
Yes.
Great. But yeah, there's a scene in which one of the executives pitches him as the luckiest man in America.
Hmm.
And we knew from the conception of the script when we were writing down all the dialogue that would probably be the name.
Hmm.
We were at the very beginning in love with it. So yeah, it was a simple decision, honestly.
I was very fascinated with the progression of the story, and yeah, there comes a point where he is, on a roll and earning a lot of money on the show, and then that becomes kind of the spin is the luckiest man in America. And as a marketer, I do marketing as my day job. I certainly respected the angle that was. But this actually kind of leads me to my next question because on the top of watching the film, I then went and watched clips of the actual broadcast.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to see the parallels and to see like the early celebration like in real time on the broadcast that was replicated, of course, in the film. And so that led me to the question of like what was super important for you to keep faithful about this story?
Yeah, so exactly that. The 42 minutes that people know that
Mhm,
are public, that's the two tapings, right? The two
mhm,
21-minute taping that are on YouTube that you found. That was obviously our biggest source material. But we knew that we could just not throw that on screen and like that would not be enough of a story. So we knew that our playground was going to be the before, the commercial breaks, and then the after. Um, so that's when we started doing some research. We were lucky enough to find Bill Carruthers Jr., who is the son of the creator of Press Your Luck, and he was the
mhm,
creative consultant for the movie. So we were getting a lot of really good information about Michael and the day of his audition. He was actually there. Bill Carruthers Jr. was in the room, and that plate that he brought was actually something that he did. So we were very lucky to have him. But then we also started doing some research about Michael, and we understood that his love life was troublesome, and that he had several marriages and failed marriages, and he had some kids everywhere. So we understood that this guy was a broken man who was probably just trying to get some validation, and trying to find love. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That,
uh,
and then that perfectly leads into my next question, which is about the luckiest man in America. He is seen in the movie as kind of a riffraff, just kind of a wanderer, and there's that kind of dynamic about him. But this is his opportunity to try to make amends or try to like, get that validation that you're talking about. I wanted to know what you want audiences to learn from this character.
that you can always resort to unorthodox methods to accomplish your dreams.
Yeah.
I think that would be my advice. As long as they're not fully illegal,
Mhm.
you should be able to question the way that things operate and just be curious about the rules that have been implemented and ask why these rules are in place. Because if you do so, then you're going to be able to, yeah, hopefully find a loophole in a system and exploit it.
Samir, I love that answer. Last question for you. You've brought projects to TIFF before, and so it's exciting that you're able to premiere this film at TIFF as well. Just tell me what that means to you. What does it mean to you to be premiering The Luckiest Man in America at TIFF this year?
It really felt like the natural place for the movie because my producer is from Toronto. We had a lot of Canadian investors that were actually from Toronto too. And as you said, I had played at TIFF Next Wave, which is about finding the new voices and the filmmakers of the future. So it really just made a lot of sense. And the last thing was also that Shamir Anderson is also from Toronto. So we just felt like, I don't know, everything was pointing in this direction. And I'm glad that they programmed the film because I think it's going to be the perfect audience for it.
I think so. There's certainly a lot to react to with an audience in this film, and it's a fun one. And you are certainly a filmmaker of the future. I'm excited to see reactions to the film and to see whatever you do next. So thank you again for taking this time to talk with me, Samir, and good luck to you and have fun in Toronto.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Thomas. Have a good day.